artists, and welcome back to art class. Our next project is going to be a overlapping hand design like the one that you see here, where you are going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, a black marker or crayon, something to outline with, and then something to color with. Now, when I colored mine, all I had available were color sticks, but you can mix and match your color sticks, markers, colored pencils. You can use one of those things, you can use all of them and do every space with something different to change it up a little bit. It's totally up to you, but I am going to take you through the steps to create that overlapped hand look, and then the coloring part will be completely up to you. So one of the first things that I'm going to do is I am going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace my hand. Now when I did this example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I traced my hand like 6 or 7 times. You're going to need to do that in order to get that overlapped look enough, but if you want to do more than 6 times, that is totally fine. And basically what you're going to do is you're just going to trace your hand or part of your hand in all different directions all over the paper. It's going to be a little bit easier for you because you should be tracing it on a flat surface like a table or a desk, and you can move the paper as you're tracing it. I'm going to try and do my best with my paper up here on my board. So I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to just hold it straight up and down. If it happens to go off my paper, that's totally fine. Just make sure that when you're tracing your hand that you're holding the pencil straight up and down, partially so you're not actually getting pencil all over your hand, but also just so you're getting a good shape, because sometimes if you hold it sideways and you go under your finger, you're going to end up with like creepy skinny fingers, and we definitely don't want that. You should definitely start off by tracing most of your hands with as much of the hand as possible, taking up as much space on your paper as possible, even though some of them can go off, like the ones that I'm doing here. And then you want to start doing things where they're overlapping or covering each other slightly. What you really want to do is you really want to break up any of those spaces where you might end up with a really large space to color. So any parts of your hand where it might be the palm, like these parts here, I took my fingers and I split them up so that I'll have more little areas to color. After you're done tracing your hand at least 6 times, like I said, I would do it at least 6 times to really cover your paper with what you need. Or if you want to do more than 6, go ahead, but don't do too many, because then you're going to end up with a ton of really tiny spaces that you need to color. Your next step is to take a black marker or a black crayon, something dark, that you can then outline all of your hands so that you'll be able to see your finished piece. I traced over all of my hand shapes. I also took an eraser and went over them just to get rid of any little areas with some pencil that might have been sticking out, because sometimes while you're tracing, you kind of waver away from the pencil line a little bit, which is totally fine. And here is my completed hand design. The next step is to color. I really don't think you need me to demo coloring, but make sure that you're coloring neatly. But the trick is that you are coloring a different color inside each space. You're not coloring the whole hand. So for example, this hand right here, you can kind of see where the fingers are, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't just color the whole hand red. I only colored this space, everything that was still connected to each other, red. But all of these other little spaces that I created by overlapping, I made different colors. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're not just coloring the whole hand one color. It's not the hands anymore. Don't look at it as hands. Look at all of these spaces that I can color different colors and try really hard not to have the same coloring touching. So as I was coloring this, I put some green here, 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 here. Really spread them out and don't have them next to each other touching, because the more colors that are next to each other touching that are the same, you're really not going to see any of the hidden illusions, because the more spaces you have and the more colors you use, the harder it will be to find the hands that you originally traced. Because the more colorful spaces there are, the more that it kind of, you know, confuses you and makes you think that you're looking at something different. So try and use a lot of different colors. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you can fill them in with crayons, colored pencils, markers. If you feel like you have thick enough paper and you want to add a little paint in there, you can. And you can mix and match all of these things. You don't have to use all colored pencils or all marker. You could do some of the spaces in colored pencil, some of the spaces in marker, some of the spaces in crayon. Kind of mix and match and play around with a little bit. Another question that I usually get about this project from students is, for some of the spaces, like some of these really, really big ones here, can you do different patterns or decorations? Like, could I fill up the space with stripes? Absolutely. You can absolutely add some different patterns and designs to your overlapping hand design. Okay, so you have a lot of creative freedom with this picture, with this project, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, as always, make sure you take a picture of your artwork when you're done and send it to me so I can grade it. And I will see you guys again next time for art class. I can't wait to see your overlapping hand designs and how bright and colorful and beautiful I'm sure that they will be. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.